येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वर कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्च ज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। अज्ञानान्धस्य लोकस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। In the previous class, I discussed about the sutra Suptingantam Padam. There are 4 sutras which define the Sangna Padam. So we completed Suptingantam Padam. We shall take Swadisho Sarvanamastani. Now, if possible, I will take the other 2 also, Nakye, Siticha, in today's class. Otherwise, we shall continue them in tomorrow class. Swadishu Asarvanamastani. Swadishu Asarvanamastani. Both are in Saptami. We have taken this sutra, Swadishu Asarvanamastani. Swadishu and Asarvanamastani. Both are in Saptami. And Anurutti of Padam can be taken from the previous sutra, Suptingantam Padam. So, Swadishu Asarvanamastani Padam is the complete sutra. So, whenever there is Swadi Pratyaya and which is not a Asarvanamastanam, then it is called as Padam. What is called as Padam? That is not given by this sutra. But we know whenever there is Pratyaya, there will be whatever is present before that. Yasmat Pratyavidihi Tadadi Pratyaya Angam. So, the Anga will get this Padasangna. So, we can take the Anurutti of Angam also from the previous sutra. Yasmat Pratyavidis Tadadi Pratyaya Angam. So, Swadishu Asarvanamastani Angam Padam. That Anga is called as Pada. Swadishu Asarvanamastani Angam Padam. So, what is Swadishu? Swadishu is Su Adishu. What is Su and Adi? Let us consider that. We have this 4th and 5th chapters, sutras, which deal with the pratyayas which are attached to pratipadikas. We have this Adhikara Sutra, Nya Pratipadika. In this Adhikara, there are pratyas which can be attached to Ni Pratyayanta, Apratyayanta Shabdas and Pratipadikas. So in this Adhikara, we have this Sutra, Suaujasam. By this Sutra, Supratyayas are given. Then its Sutra is Triyam. Under that Adhikara, Triyam, 3 Pratyayas are dealt. Starting from 413 up to 4181. This section deals with 3 pratyayas which are attached to pratipadikas. Then starting from Tadditaha 4176 Yunastihi up to the last sutra of 4th pada of 5th chapter Nishpravanischa. Taddita pratyayas are dealt. So there are 3 types of pratyayas that are dealt in this adhikara over 2 chapters of first adhyaya. Out of 8, 2 chapters deal with these pratyayas. And the section of this 4176 up to 4181. This is a intersection of Sri Pratyaya and Taddita Pratyaya. The pratyayas which are dealt in this section are both Taddita as well as Sri Pratyayas. So we don't need to worry about that. Just if we can understand that this section, in this section we have Supratyaya and stri pratyas and taddita pratyas, that's enough. So su adishu means starting from su and others. The su here refers to the su of the first pratyaya in supratyaya. Ekavachana pratama vibhakti pratyaya su and adisu. Adishu. Adishu means and others up to this kap pratyaya. Ura prabrutibhyah kap is the last pratyaya in this adhikara. Starting from su up to this kap pratyaya, whatever the pratyas are there, they are called as swadi. So swadi refers to sarve supratyayaha, sarve stri pratyayaha, sarve taddita pratyayaha. That's about swadishu. Next, asarvanamasthani. What is asarvanamassthanam? What is sarvanamassthanam? Asarvanamassthanam is the opposite of sarvanamassthanam. So this sangna, we have already studied this. Again, we shall revise. This sangna is given by these two sutras, Shi Sarvanamassthanam, Sudanapumsakasya. Shi Sarvanamassthanam. In 7.1, where the first half of the pada gives pratyaya adesha, we have this adesha, Shi, for Jash and Shas pratyas of Napumsakalinga words. This Napumsakacha is the previous sutra. From that Napumsakat Shas Shasoho Shihi. The Shas Pratyaya and Jas Pratyaya, which are present after a Napumsakalinga word, they get Shi Adesha is the meaning of this sutra. Jas Shasho Shihi. So by this sutra, Phala plus Jas or Shas. Here Phala is a Napumsakalinga word. So this Jas and Shas, they get Shi Adesha. Both get Shi Adesha. This Shi is what is mentioned in this sutra, Shi Sarvanamassthanam. It means the Jas and Shas Pratyaya, which are present after a Napumsakalinga word, they are called as Sarvanamassthanam. The Jas and Shas Pratyayas are called as Sarvanamassthanam when they are present after a Napumsakalinga word. Next, Sudanapumsakasya. Sut Anapumsakasya. Sut refers to starting from su up to takara. It's sangna that is su au jas out. These first five pratyayas. Anapumsakasya. Not in case of a Napumsakalinga word. It means in case of Pullinga and Strilinga words, these five pratyayas are called as Sarvanamassthanam. Su, au, jas, out. These pratyayas, whenever they are followed, whenever they are present after a pullinga word or after a strilinga word, they are called as sarvanamassthanam. So, in Swadishu, the first five supratyayas are called as sarvanamassthanam. In case of pullinga and strilinga words, in case of Napumsakalinga words, Jas and Shas are called as Sarvanamassthanam. Except these Sarvanama Sthanam, other Swadi Pratyayas. In presence of other Swadi Pratyayas, Anga gets Padasangna. Swadishu, in case of Swadi Pratyayas, whenever there is Swadi Pratyaya, this Vyam, Ti, Mini, these are Swadi Pratyayas. Asarvanamasthane, but this should not be Asarvanamassthanam. This Vyam is not a Sarvanamasthana, Ti is not a Sarvanamasthana, Mini is not a Sarvanamasthana. But they are Swadi Pratyayas because this Vyam is a Suppo, Ti is Tri Pratyaya, Mini is a Tadita Pratyaya. So at this stage, Angam Padam, this Anga, whatever is present before that is called as Pada. Previously by Suptigantam Padam, only Supratyayanta and Ting Pratyayanta were called as Pada. But by this sutra, it is not this Supratyayanta Manas plus Vyam, the whole thing is not Pada. What is given by this sutra, that is given by Suptigantam Padam. But the Anga, this Manas itself is called as Pada by this sutra, Swadishu Asarvanamasthani. So since it is an anga, so since this manas is a pada, U1, it should be U1. U1 is a pada, watch is a pada, then there will be pada nimittika karyas. For example, since manas is a pada, the sakara at end of a pada will become ru, and which in terms becomes visarga. No, no, no. Ru, and by ashicha, whenever the true is preceded by rasvakar and followed by ash letter, it becomes vu, then adgunaha, then that vu a plus vu becomes vo, manobhyam. If it is not a pada, manas, if it is not a pada, then sakara cannot be converted into ru. And u1 plus the the nakaranta pratipadika, which is also a pada, that nakara of that pratipadika will be deleted by nalopa pratipadika. If a pratipadika is called as pada, and if it ends with nakara, that nakara will be deleted by the sutra nalopa pratipadika. If u1 is not a pada here, then this nakara cannot be deleted. But by this sutra, u1 is a pada, so here nakara gets deleted and yuva plus the yuvati. Watch plus min. Here, in presence of a, since it is a pada, watch is a pada, by there is a sutra, chopuku, chavargiya venjana will be converted into kavargiya, so it becomes vak plus min. Whenever by jalam jashonte, whenever it is followed by whenever a gel letter is present at the end of a pada, then it will get jashadesha. That kha becomes gha. So it becomes vak becomes vag, vagmin. So this is about swadishu asarvanamasthani. What is swadishu? Because the other pratyas which are added to dhatus, like are which are not in fourth or fifth chapter, they are not called as pada, because putra is a pratipadika, but this is not a swadi pratyaya kech, because it is given in third chapter 318. It is a sanadi pratyaya, so it is not a swadi pratyaya. Here putra is not a pada, it is not a pada by this sutra. Then what is asarvanamasthani? Because the same words manas, yuvan, watch, whenever they are followed by a sarvanamasthana pratyaya, then they are not called as pada. For example, manas plus au. Here au is a sarvanamasthana, manas is napumsakalinga word, so it is a sarvanamasthana. For manas, actually it is not sarvanamasthana, because au, that only she, that jas and shas are called as sarvanamasthana. I have given the wrong example. U1, for U1, the sum U1 is pullinga, is the द्वितीय ekavachana, so it is a sut pratyaya by sudanupumsaka sarvanamasthana, so there will be this u1 is not a pada here. Watch, here just pratyaya, this walk is napumsakalinga word, watch napumsakalinga word, sorry, this watch is strilinga word, so just anyway, just is a sut pratyaya, so it is also not a pada. Watch is not a pada whenever it is followed by a sarvanama sthana pratyaya. This is about swadishu sarvanama sthani. Here watch, this watch is not a pada whenever it is followed by a sarvanama sthana pratyaya, but the whole thing, this watch plus us, this watches is a pada, because it ends with Sup pratyaya. Just is a sup pratyaya. So it by suptigantam padam. This is pada. The watch is not pada, but watchas is a pada. So since it is a pada, that sakara will be converted into ru, and later that ru, whenever it is at the end of a pada and it is not followed by anything, then that will be converted into visarga by the sutra karavasanayo visarjaniyaha. Okay, this is about Swadisho Asarvanamasthane. Okay, time is there. I'll take the other two sutras also. Nakye and Siticha. Naha Pratama Ekavachana, K Saptami Ekavachana. Naha refers to the Nakara. Nakara, whenever it is followed by a pratyaya which has the portion kya, then that na is called as, that nakara is called as a pada. By tadanta vidhi, yena vidhis tadantasya, nakara as well as the words which end with nakara, they are called as pada. So Rajan, Brahman, Atman, Charman, all these end with nakara. So whenever these are followed, this naha refers to all these words. Whenever these are followed by a pratyaya which has kya in it, that is the pratyas like kesh, kyang, kech, then the anga. Again here also the anurti of padam and angam from the previous sutra come. So Charman and Rajan in these cases they get padasangna. Here anga gets padasangna. Actually, this Charman, Rajan, these are pada by itself by the previous sutra Suptigantam Padam, because this Pratyaya Kech and Kesh and others, they are added to padas only. They are added to Subantam, not to Pratipadika. For example, we have the sutra Supa Atmana Kech, by which this Kech is given. In that sutra, we have Supaha Atmanaha Kech. So supaha after sup, it means after subantam only that pratyaya kech is given. So it is rajanam atmanaha ichati. So here we are adding kech pratyaya not to the pratipadika rajan but to the subantam rajanam. So anyway this rajanam rajanam plus kech actually. If we split, it becomes Rajan plus Ham. But during Prakriya, the whole thing, Rajan plus Kech, the whole thing is Sanadhyanta. Because Kech is a Sanadi Pratyaya. So the whole thing is a Sanadi Pratyayanta. By Sanadhyanta Datavaha, it is a Dhatu. Whatever we are going to get the final word, it is called as a Dhatu. There is a sutra, Supo Dhatu Pratipadikayoho. If in a Dhatu or in a Pratipadika, there are Supratyayas, then there will be deletion of those Supratyayas by this sutra. So we add this Rajan plus plus Kecho. The whole thing is a Dhatu. So whatever the Supratyayas present within the Dhatu, they get deleted. So this should be get deleted by Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho. But we have that sutra Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya Lakshanam. Even after we do the lopa of a Pratyaya, still the Pratyaya Lakshana will be there. So even though there is no Pratyaya here, still this Rajan can be called as a Pada, a Subantam, so a Padam by the previous sutra. Then what is the need of this sutra? Nakke. Putram Atmanaha Ichati. Similarly, this similar kind of example. Putra plus that gets deleted. Kecho. So this shows that this sutra is a niyama sutram. Nakye is a niyama sutra. What does it mean? It means only nakaranta words, nakaranta words will get pratipadisagna whenever they are followed by this kya adi pratyaya. For example, if there is a suppose if we add kech pratyaya to a subanta, after deleting that supratyaya, whatever present or other supratyaya, if the pratipadika whatever we get, no, if that is not ending with nakara, if it is not nakaranta, then by the previous sutra, by suptigantam padam, that qualifies to be called as a padam, but this sutra avoids that. This here putra cannot be called as padam because it doesn't end with nakara. If there is no sutra called as nakye, if there is no sutra nakye in the ashtadhyayi, then by the previous sutra even putra can be called as padam because this kech pratyaya is added to a pada putram, where pratyaya supratyaya was there, so that is a subantam and therefore it is a padam. Even after that deletion of that pratyaya, still putra can be called as pada. But this sutra nakye restricts the scope of the previous sutra suptigantam padam only with respect to nakaranta pratipadikas. If the pratipadika which is left after the deletion of the supratyaya here is nakaranta, only that is called as pada in presence of these pratyayas, not other pratipadikas. So here putra is not a pada, but if it is rajan, it is a pada because it ends with nakara. This is about nakye. And the last sutra, titicha. Titicha. Again, whenever there is a sit pratyaya, then the anga is called as pada. These are the 5 pratyayas in the ashtadhyayi in which sakara is it. All of these are tadita pratyayas, and in all of these that sakara is it by halantyam. Now vibhakta tasmaha tusmaha is not applicable because none of these are vibhakti pratyayas, none of these are supratyayas or ting pratyayas or that pratyayas which are told in pragdisha adhikara. So none of these are vibhakti pratyayas, so that in nabi vibhakta tusmaha is not applicable. They all of these are it by halantyam. Example for each, that us is added to the pratipadikam urna, yes is added to kam, chas is added to bhavat, nas is added to parshu, gas is added to rutu. So whenever there is tit pratyaya in front, then the anga, these words urna, kam, bhavat, parshu, rutu, these are called as pada, is the meaning of this sutra. Siticha, whenever there is sit pratyaya, anga is called as pada. So we completed all the 4 sutras. We have this statement, apadam na prayunjita. In the language, we are not allowed to use the words which are not pada. Apadam, the word which is not a pada, na prayunjita, should not be used. So whatever the words we use, all of in the language, all of them are pada. Either it is a subantam or tingantam. For example, ramaha vanam gacchati, ramaha is a subantam, vanam subantam, gacchati tingantam. So And this Padasangha is given by these 4 sutras. Suptingantam Padam, Nakke, Siticha, Swadisho Sarvanama Sthani. By Suptingantam Padam, Putra, example Putrabhyam. Nakke, Rajan in presence of Kech Pratyaya. Siticha, Bhavat in presence of Chas Pratyaya. Swadisho Sarvanama Sthani. This Putra in presence of a Swadi Pratyaya, which is not a Sarvanamasthana. But this apadam, which is told by this sutra, is concerned with the first sutra, Suptigantam Padam. So, whatever the words we are using in the language should be pada, and that Padasangha, which is told there, is restricted to the words which are given by this sutra, Suptigantam Padam. The definition of the pada given by these 3 sutras is restricted to only the in the scope of grammar. For derivation of the words, that sangha is required. Otherwise, since this is a pada bhavat or this is a pada putra here, we cannot use this in language. So subantam and tingantam, they are the words which are used in the pada, which are used in the language, which is meant by this statement apadam na prayunjita. Okay, this is about these 4 sutras. Quickly, I will revise. By Suptingantam Padam, if a word ends with either Supratyaya or Ting Pratyaya, it is called as Padam. It is very simple. Nakke, Nakaranta words, whenever they are followed by the Pratyaya which starts with Kya, like Kech, Kesh, Keng, then they are called as Padam. The Sangha is called by these 3 sutras, the Anga is called as Pada, not the whole word. So Rajan is called as Pada. Siticha, whenever there is a Sit Pratyaya, a Pratyaya in which Sakara is Sit, then the Anga is called as a Pada. Then Swadisho Asarvanamasthane, by this Anga is called as a Pada whenever it is followed by Swadi Pratyaya, means Sup or 3 or Tadita Pratyaya, which are not Sarvanama Sthana Pratyaya. That Sarvanama Sthana Pratyaya is restricted to Supratyaya only. So Supratyaya, which is not Sarvanama Sthana, and all Stri Pratyaya and all Tadita Pratyaya can be. So then this Anga is called as Pada. So these are the 4 sutras which define the Sangha Padam. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.